Hello.
This is Friday night, Hangout,
Hello.
creating our stories,
Evening.
piece by piece. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night, Hangout. Ooh, it's Friday night, Hangout.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Friday Night Hangout. Welcome. Hey, welcome. This is the Friday Night Hangout, Season 17, Episode 203. Yay! I'm excited to welcome us all to an amazing, insightful, beautiful 11th month of 2024. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. I am Joy Onyeso, your transformational coach and the host of the Friday Night Hangout. And so, this beautiful, reflective month of November, our conversations on the Friday Night Hangout would be focused on reflections and gratitude. So, welcome. I know some of you may have come in tonight expecting to see the featured episode on Mavico Foods, but I traveled. I told us last time, and so I'm broadcasting out of studio, so we can do the Mavico special features to this Friday. We are moving into the second Friday of the month, which will be next week Friday. So you can expect to see that next week Friday. Where's your Doha goodies? Don't worry. Plenty Doha goodies. I'm bringing them back. Hmm? Everyone will get Doha goodies when I'm back. Everyone is going to get Doha goodies, right? So, welcome. I'm excited, really. I want to know how your day has been. How has the week been for you? This is an exciting new month. It is the 11th month. When we enter into the Ember months, we started in September, October. Now we're in the Cocoa month, November, right? The 11th month, 11th hour miracle. A lot of things are happening. Thank you so much, Fina. She says, I'm looking pink. This is what Doha does, the penguin look. I'm really happy, really, really, I'm really happy. And our conversation this month is really focused on some of my own learnings. And I hope it would also inspire your own learnings and experience sharing. The Friday Night Hangout is a space where we come to share, we reflect. So I want us to use the hashtags in the comment section. Let me see you use the hashtag FNH with Joy Onyeso, or use hashtag TGIF. So let me see the hashtag. Fina says, my day was hectic but productive. Amazing. I celebrate you. We want to have amazing, productive days. Now, I have a reflective affirmation for us for this week. In fact, because we're discussing reflections and gratitude this new month, this amazing November, every week I'll be sharing with you a positive affirmation that can really help you to reflect, on your experiences, on your thoughts, and it will energize you to do all that you can do this month. So for today, my reflective affirmation is I, Joy, am thankful for the blessings of this week, and I am thankful for the lessons. So you could also put your name in. Where I said I, Joy, you could put your name in and say, I, Fina, I'm thankful. You know what this does? When you come from a place of reflection, you're thinking about what has been, what will be, and you also think about the many blessings you enjoy. You begin to see challenges as lessons, right? We begin to give meanings. The meanings we give to things are really what holds the power for us. It's a mindset thing. So when you see challenges, when you see, barriers as lessons, then it begins to give you a new perspective on how to deal with things. Life is all about perspective. Life is all about perspective. And that's what we're going to be discussing this month, this beautiful, beautiful 11th month. Because when you talk about reflections, you just have to talk about perspective. And so this week, today, tonight, for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about the power of reflections. The power of reflections. So don't go anywhere. Stay right here. We're just going to take this short break, and then we're right back. So I want you to start thinking about it. The power of reflections. What are you grateful for? What are reflections? What are the benefits of reflections? What are some of the techniques for conducting reflections? So it's not just doing things. I want us to do things very well. We have few weeks to the end of the year, but amazing things can still happen. Amazing things can still happen. So tonight I'm going to be sharing with us what is reflection, benefits of reflection, techniques for conducting reflection, and then how you can incorporate it in your daily life. And trust me, if you're able to, you know, um, adapt some of what we're going to discuss tonight, or elevate some of what we're going to have conversation on tonight, you would see yourself excelling beyond your wildest imagination. Okay, so stay right here. With an advert we want to take right now. I want to take an advert on Rediscover and Drive retreats, and then we'll come back and have good conversations on reflections. Hello, Chinelo. Good evening. I see you. Onyeka Chuku, welcome, welcome. Fina says, I, Fina, I'm thankful for the blessings of this week and I'm thankful for the experiences. DJ Flux, I see you. Uncle Shirley, I see you. And please do forgive me if I don't call your name. It's not intentional. You know how it is with technology. You call the names of those that you see right on the screen. Sometimes there's a lag, right? Okay, so while we're waiting for the ad, I think there's some technological issue there. Let's just go right ahead. Now, let's dive right into reflection. What is reflection? If you've been following my posts or reading some of my write-ups, you will see me say I love to use the word reflection. I love to use the word, different ways of using reflection. Either I say I'm reflective or I'm intentional, all of those stuff, because I understand the power that it holds. When we talk about reflection, what we're simply talking about is you thoughtfully assessing your experiences, thoughtfully examining your feelings, your actions, and your thoughts. So you're intentionally assessing all of this. And why are you doing that? You're doing that because you want to gain insights, because you want to have a deeper understanding, right? A deeper understanding of who you are, of some of your strengths, your weaknesses, some opportunities that are presented before you, and it helps you to understand where you are going to. Now, Socrates said, an unexamined life is a life not worth living. Examining your life is a process of reflection. If you just wake up, do things, engage anyhow, form relationships anyhow, then it's difficult for you to grow. It's difficult for you to impact your world. We've all been called to do something positive, one of which is to impact our world. So, some of the benefits of practicing reflection, some of the benefits of the power of reflection is one, it helps us to know ourselves, it builds your self awareness. Beyond your name, beyond what you do you really know who you are? Do you know what triggers you? Do you know what makes you happy? Do you know your strength? What are you really good at? What are some of the things you struggle with? Which area do you intend to improve in your life? This is what an examining your life, this is what it does for you. So if you don't give yourself the permission to reflectively assess your life, you'll be missing out on growth opportunities. Now, another benefit is that it helps you to examining your life, helps you to set meaningful goals and to achieve those goals. Success is not a coincidence. No, it's not a coincidence. Success is an intentional, structured effort. It is when preparation meets opportunity, then success happens. So there has to be the preparation. And reflection is part of the preparation that you need to carry out. We're already in the last, the curtains for the year 2024 is drawing close. We're closing down, the year, but there's still a whole lot that can happen. Now, if you're not able to sit, reflect, strategize, and act, it's difficult to achieve results. That's another benefit of reflections. Okay. Now, it also helps you to improve your communication. Because sometimes you may think you are communicating, right? You think you're passing on the right message. But you have to step back and ask yourself, am I really saying what I intend to say? Am I saying it the way I want to say it or the way I need to say it? Is it being understood the way I want the recipient to understand it? And there is no how you can evaluate all of this if you're not reflective. So we're going to come later to the types of reflection that can happen, right? We're still talking on the benefits. So it's a whole lot. It can help you to strengthen relationships. That's how you know when people are out of season with you. Sometimes we keep carrying on baggage, relationship baggage that needs to end like yesterday because we're not reflective. Sadly, some people must go to make room for other people to come into your life. And there are other people who are meant to be with you for all seasons, depending on the role they play in your life. And then you can also be a better person in a relationship when you spend time to think about some of your actions, some of your words, some of the things how you relate, how you show up for people, your relationship, whether it's a work relationship, whether it's a personal relationship. We have different kinds of relationship. You want to examine how you show up and how you play out. Recall that last month we are talking about showing up, right? And we talked about being transparent, being accountable, right? And this also comes to play in reflection. Now, you want to also be sure that you're authentic, that how you're showing up is in alignment with who you are and the value that you hold close to your heart. That's what that's some of the power reflection has. Sometimes you're doing things, you're grumbling doing those things, and then sometimes you're doing things, you're engaging with people, you're taking certain action, and you feel as if it's one part of you doing it that is different from the real you, right? Because it's what you're doing is not in tune and alignment with really who you are. And so when you give yourself the permission to reflect on your actions, on your thoughts, you can say, you know what, I can't do this any longer. This is not me. I've deviated. I need to step back. I need to go back to who I am. Right? I need to find myself. Finding yourself is very critical. It helps you to stay grounded. And it's difficult to be grateful if you do not know who you are. It's difficult to be grateful if you can't have positive thoughts of relationships, of actions. For you to be thankful, for you to be grateful, you must have some thoughts. Is that reflection and oh, this person has done me well. I need to be grateful. Oh, God is so faithful. How? You start counting your blessings. It's from a place of reflection. It's from a place of reflection. And honestly, as we plan, some of us are already getting into the mood of the end of the year. We're strategizing for our businesses. We want to, wrap up the year strong. One of the things you need to do to wrap up the year strong is to operate from a place of intentionality. Be reflective. You cannot afford to, I always say, you cannot afford to do anyhow, anyhow. Okay? Now, there are different types of reflection. You can have the reflection of what we call self reflection, where you reflect on yourself, who you are, what triggers you, your strengths, your strengths, your weaknesses, and all that. It enables you to get to know yourself better. We have peer-to-peer reflection where you have this conversation amongst your peer, right? You will have brainstorming sessions. You talk about who you are constructively, not from a place of tearing anyone down, but very constructive conversation. There's also what we call the group reflection. We see this happen a lot in workshop, in conferences, just like we're doing here in Doha. Some of the moments we've had are moments of group reflections where we think about the subject matter, we unpack the subject matter and all of that. And then there is also the reflective journaling. For some of us who are not very given to speaking, you pour out your heart more when you are writing, right? Not just writing, but reflectively penning your thoughts. So for some of us, we want to go that route where we engage in reflective journaling, right? So there are different types of reflective processes, and you want to look at which one works for you. Okay? Now, what are some of the key elements of reflection? The first one is that there has to be an introspection, which means that you have to look inwards. This is not the time where you're pointing figure, oh, they did this to me, or the environment is this. They got no, you have to step back and look inwards. There has to be an introspection. And then when you introspect, when you reflect inwards, what you need to do then is to analyze. Analyze some of the things you're coming up with. Analyze some of the feelings you have. Put them out there and then evaluate them. When you're analyzing, you're unpacking, right? You're unpacking things to enable you understand it better. I have anger issues. Why do I have anger issues? You unpack it. Or when I'm stressed, when I'm frustrated, when I'm overwhelmed, it triggers me. Then you need to unpack that. Then you know how to handle it. I lack self-confidence. Why do you feel that you cannot speak, you cannot act in public, or you cannot, take a stand and, focus on that? You unpack them. And you begin to evaluate, looking at patterns, looking at history, right? And you start looking at how you can close the gap. Now, when all of these things are happening, of course, you'll be getting insights. So you want to integrate all of these new learnings, new insights. You want to integrate them into your daily life. So all that you have learned, you start looking at them. Oh, I can improve in this area. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Even as a result of the conversations we're having today, as we're even having this conversation, some of us are reflecting. And then you move to the fifth point, which is action. So you you take actions based on the new insights you have, based on the new revelations, on the new knowledge. So don't just, when we talk about reflection, I want us to have structured reflections so you can see it becoming, being impactful in your life and in any process that you engage with in. I shared with us some time ago that one of the things I do is before I go to bed at night, I must, after I say my prayers, I will just take time to reflect on all I have done throughout that day, my reactions, some of the conversations I had, I will play back in my head, and some of the feelings that came up. I'll say, how did I fare here? Did I do well? You know, was my reaction, you know, equal to the action that happened? Or was I being just, sentimental? When you give yourself the opportunity, you start seeing room. Oh, I overreacted. How can I now close the gap? How do I make amends, or if there are restitutions that needs to be made? And that's why Socrates said an unexamined life is a life not worth living. If you do not examine your life daily, you're just giving yourself permission to fail. You're giving yourself permission to remain stunted. One of the beautiful benefits of reflection is that it provides opportunity for growth, personal growth, professional growth, business growth. Even in your business as an entrepreneur, you want to take time to evaluate your business. You want to say, okay, we want to do monthly evaluations or reflections. You want to do quarterly, whatever it is. But there has to be times when you make out time to really get feedback from your clients, and then get feedback from your team members, and then look at areas. This where accountability comes into play as well. Reflection is so powerful. What we can do with reflection, if we work on it, if we do it very well, is just limitless. It's really limitless. And so as we're planning for the end of the year, as we're planning for the beginning of next year, because by the grace of God, we are all going to cross over into the next year, you know, I want us to begin to put some structures, some substructures and systems that can help us to grow, right? If you're just coming in, welcome, welcome. We're having conversations this evening on the power of reflection. And so we've talked about what reflection is. We looked at some of the benefits, and then we looked at some of the techniques, some of the key components of reflection as well, and some of the techniques of reflections. We looked at types of reflections. So we're going to talk about the techniques of reflection, and then how can you incorporate it into your daily life. We've spoken about that already, and then we wrap up for tonight. Okay, so let's look at some of the techniques that you can, deploy in reflection. The first one is, I've talked about it, which is the SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunities, growth. Threat, sorry. So you can use that technique really when you're reflecting to say, okay, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What is the strength of this process? So it mustn't even just be about you as an individual. You can apply to your organization, you can apply to your system, you can apply to any process. So you look at the strengths. You want to be sure that you're clear. You know, I always talk about clarity, right? And even in the month of the first month of 2025, of course, that's like usual. I'm going to talk about clarity of vision. So clarity, everything must start from a place of clarity. Clarity is you having a deep understanding of what it is you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want it to happen, and the results you intend to achieve. If you cannot see it, if you cannot envision it, it's difficult for you to achieve it. So when you find yourself struggling a lot, it's because you can't really envision what you want to achieve. If you cannot describe what success will look like to you, if you cannot describe what achieving this would mean for you, then it is something you need to work on. So the SWOT, right? You also want to pay attention to opportunities. Opportunities, are really internal, while threats are external. So threats are what are environmental, that you have no control over, but you need to pay attention to them so you can come up with some mitigating factors, right? So you can use that. Then you can also use, I've talked about the SWOT, right? So you can use that SWOT technique for your reflections. You can also do what I call mindful reflections, where you're really very intentional about what you do. You're present. You're really very present every day in what you do, in the actions you take. There's some of us that we just say things. We don't even care what we're saying, how we're saying it, how it's being received, the impact of what we say. We just pour out things like that. When you're mindful in showing up, when you're mindful of relationships, you wouldn't just say things anyhow. You'll pay attention. You'll be very careful. And then you can also do the reflective journaling, writing. Right. And then if you're working in a team, you can share the thoughts. So, what works for you? This is not an exhaustive list of all the techniques or benefits. This is just, to get us started on the conversation, right? You can always look up some resources online. You can always do some thinking, digging around, materials and all of that. And that's one of the beautiful things about the Friday night hangout. It's just a safe space for us where we share tools, strategies for personal development, business development, and professional growth. And I'm always excited to have this in a fun environment with you. This is just to give you some motivation to, get started if you're not already on that journey. And if you are, this to validate what you're doing and ask you to strengthen what you're doing, right? We just can't train it all, we cannot give up. Remember, we started with a positive affirmation. I said, I joy, I'm thankful for this week's and today's blessings. I'm also thankful for the lessons. It's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. It's very powerful. Onye Kachuku said, mindful reflection. God is powerful. This morning, I told myself that I need to be very careful in my choice of words. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Miracle. Thank you so much. This is really very, very, very important. Being mindful with the words we speak. Words have power. Words really have power. Your mind is one of the greatest transformative tools that God has blessed you with. Do not joke with it. You can create and you can destroy with your mind. And that's why oftentimes anything that comes to break you starts from your mind. Anything that will make you would also upgrade your mind. The mind is so powerful. So don't joke with it. Now, I like to give us assignments, right? I want you to write some commitments you're making for yourself. You don't need to share with me, but if you want to share in the comment section, that's fine. What you want to do differently as a result of this conversation we are having tonight. What you want to do differently, right? And then while we're at it, don't forget, I love to get your perspective. We're already planning for 2025 Friday night hangout, and I would love to get your opinion on some of the topics you want us to discuss for 2025. So also use the comment section, put out some of the topics you want us to discuss. I'm here because of you. And I want to make sure that I'm serving you what you want, what you need, that would help you grow. We win together. We're in this together. We win together, right? We win together. Okay, so just to summarize as we wrap up, the first is that reflection is a powerful tool for growth. It helps us to grow in all areas of our life. And it is about us being, intentional in assessing our thoughts, our actions, our feelings, and all of that. You don't just want to do things anyhow. You want to, check it. You want to be very mindful of the things you do, how you act, and how you show up. And remember, there are some very key characteristics you need to have. You need to be sure you're accountable, you're transparent, you're authentic, and you are communicating. Now, we also looked at some of the benefits of reflections. We looked at the techniques. We also looked at the key elements of reflection. And I'm hoping. Oh, sorry, Uresta says network is not friendly in my location. Oh, so sorry. But you can watch the replay, my dear. You can watch the replay. So sorry about that. Now, so reflection is so powerful, really powerful. Don't undermine the power of your reflections. So if you haven't been reflecting or reflecting in a structured way, I shared with you some of the key elements of a structured reflection. We looked at, the introspection, the analysis, the evaluation, the integration of your new learnings into your daily life, and the actions that needs to happen as a result of your reflection. Okay, we are way past our time. I hope that you found this very insightful, very helpful, and that you have some nuggets you'll be walking away with. Okay, okay, there's a question here. I need to take this question before I go. Onyeka says, can reflection make one to control anger spirit? I think it was anger spirit. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Recall that I said that reflection enables you to know what triggers you, right? Enables you to understand yourself. Your self awareness increases. So you need to, when you reflect, one of the things you do is to ask yourself, I was angry this time. What made me angry? What is it about what the person said or did that made me angry? Even when you feel happy, you need to interrogate why you're happy. That's why one of the key elements of reflection is evaluation, analysis. You don't just, oh, I feel that way. Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel angry? Why did you feel happy? Why did you feel excited? So once you're able to unpack this, you can now start looking at strategies. So, oh, this thing makes me angry. Why does it make me angry? Is it as a result of trauma? Sometimes some of the things that make us angry is the meaning we attach to things. I've shared this several times. So someone can say, oh, shut up there. And because the meaning attached to it is not one of disrespect or whatever, but some other person might say, oh, this is disrespectful, right? And so our value system, which is as a result of our socialization process, that's how, how we were groomed, also helps us to give meanings to things, to situations. And that's what triggers anger. That's what triggers excitement and all of that. That's what even triggers gratitude. So yes, once you can practice reflection and you're consistent about it and you're determined, because remember we said one of the key elements of reflection is that you now learn new things. You get new knowledge, right? About who you are. So how do you now want to implement the new version of you that you want to exist? I want to deal with anger. How do I deal with anger? What triggers me in the first place? So running away from it doesn't solve the situation. But you need to unpack it. You need to deal with it. You need to confront it to understand it. So when someone says, I have anger issues, let's interrogate what makes you angry. Sometimes it's stress. So you want to know how to deal with that. Sometimes it's unmet expectations. How can you deal with that? But the key thing is knowing that you have control over you, not over anybody else. So if there's work to be done, you need to focus on yourself. Recall, I also said one of the key things about reflection is the introspection that needs to happen, looking inwards. So you need to take responsibility, acknowledge, accept. Then you now build new learnings, new insights from what you have understood. And then you now create systems or processes that will enable you to overcome that problem. Okay? All right. Even with low self-esteem, low confidence, all of these are things we can work on, right? So I hope this answered your question. Thank you so much. I'm excited I answered your question. Okay, we're way above our time. I'm so excited to see you here. The conversation continues, right? We just started. We're just scratching the surface. We just started with the power of reflections. It's a new topic next week. Remember, this whole month of November, we're talking about reflections and gratitude. Trust me, if you can take some of the nuggets from here and run with it, there'll be a change. Somehow it also validates some of what you're doing, that you're doing right. And somehow it also gives some of us new insights. Let's run with it. Remember that we win together. And so until I come your way next week, Friday, from me to you is, I love you. Take care. God bless you. And keep winning. Keep reflecting. Do not stop reflecting. If you don't have a journal, go get a journal. Go get a journal. I'm going to ask you next week, Friday, for your journal. Go get a journal. You want to track your growth phase, right? You want to see how you're growing. You want to see how things are moving along for you. Nasiba, you can watch the replay, all right? Welcome. You can watch the replay. Okay, everyone, we've done 10 minutes above our time, so take care. I love you all, and I will see you next week, Friday. From me to you is I love you. Stay blessed, stay focused, and keep winning. Bye for now.
My name is Ozil Denizu. Rediscover and Thrive Retreat. What do I love about the retreat? I love the setting. I love the fact that it's out of town. It's out of my comfort zone. It's out of where I am used to. And I love the serene environment. It's not a hotel. It felt like being in my own home. And then the togetherness, being able to be together in the same space. And then the fact that it was a safe space where I could share my mind. I love that.
Are you feeling stuck in your business, professional, or personal life? Or are you struggling to find purpose and direction? Imagine having a clear sense of direction, achieving your goals, and living a fulfilling life. Joy Onyeso Coaching Consult is here to help you. We will work with you to identify your strengths, overcome obstacles, and develop a personalized plan to achieve your dreams. With our coaching and consulting services, you will gain clarity, confidence, and the tools you need to succeed. Do not let fear, lack of clarity, or doubt hold you back any longer. Take the first step towards achieving your goals and living your best life. Contact Joy Onyeso Coaching Consult today. Joy Onyeso Coaching Consult, empowering you to reach your full potential. Call, SMS, or WhatsApp +234 704 229 1171. Or you can visit our website www.joyonyesocoachingconsult.com.